So, the impossible has actually happened, and my god, what a year it has been! 2016, my god, we've had Brexit, and now we have Donald Trump in the presidency, or soon to be in the presidency. Now, you might be wondering who did I support, or who did I hope to win? And I imagine you can guess that would be Donald Trump. The reasoning for this is, well, they're both terrible candidates in their own ways. Trump, obviously, something of a chauvinist, something. I mean, I do not agree with all of his views. I mean, my god, he has some absolutely atrocious views on climate. But the man is the populist that the American democratic system needs. My god, it needs a shot in the arm. It's just, money has too much power, which is really ironic considering that Mr. Trump, a billionaire, has come to power. But that's an interesting note. I spoke to quite a few people on something like similar to this subject. A lot of people say he is the power, he has all this money, how can he not be part of the establishment? Well, he has betrayed the establishment, in essence. He had said, look, there's tax loopholes, I know because I've done this. And my god, if there's anybody who could try and fix something like this, then it's going to be him. Whereas you had Hillary, who was basically bankrolled by the Wall Street bankers, the Wall Street, of course, the big companies, JP Morgan, obviously the other large ones. You even have funds coming from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, these nations that actually do support terrorism in the Middle East and abroad as well, like Saudi Arabia with Wahhabism. Wahhabism? I think I've got that right. Obviously, this is the first kind of video I've ever done like this, and I do imagine it's probably going to be terrible for my channel, as it was something I was set up as a predominantly gaming channel, and just something to chill with. So, I'd like to just say to you all before you click that unsubscribe button, I do respect your opinions, and everybody is welcome to their own opinion. And this is just simply mine, I am just saying my own opinion here. So if you guys disagree or agree, could we keep it down in the comments there and keep it civil? It's hard to have something of a debate when it's uncivil. But anyway, moving on. Now we have publications like The Guardian. Now, The Guardian is a piece of shit. It is absolutely a piece of shit. It's so biased, it's unreal. But another reason, well, a reason why I think the Trump presidency has come about is the fact that that the mainstream media has just wholly thrown its hat in with Hillary. Just thrown its lot in there with Hillary and her campaign. And it's ridiculous. The media has forgotten what it is meant to be. The fourth estate is meant to be almost neutral in a way. I mean, obviously there is bias to either side, as you do have like left-leaning papers and right-leaning papers. But my god, for them to fully and wholly get behind Hillary at every step of the way, to paint Trump out as a bloody... Well, they painted him out as a bloody criminal, rapist, misogynist, etc., you name it, white nationalist, that's something we'll see soon. I mean, my god, everybody has flaws. Everybody has flaws, but when you look at Hillary's, bloody hell, the corruption runs deep there. You look at Bill bloody Clinton, Jesus Christ, what a shit show that is. But somehow she's still in politics, or was still in politics. I can't imagine this would be good for her career now, but I imagine there will be a lot of people saying, hey, we want the first woman president. And yes, well, as a Englishman, as a British citizen, I can say there's absolutely no problems from me with a woman being in charge. It has absolutely no bearings on the electoral process, it has absolutely no bearings on the democratic process, it has no bearings on their ability. Whether they are of either gender, any colour, who the hell cares, everybody is the bloody same. Well, more or less the same, obviously circumstances do differ, there is differing culture, etc. Not all cultures are equal, some are clearly superior, which is something that is quite contentious to say today, even though it's obviously the bloody truth. Right, I mean, bloody hell, let's take a look then, shall we? Now, this is the wave of unrest that is sweeping America at the moment. And, for all the talk of saying, oh, Trump, he's full of hate, he's hateful, he's a racist, he's a white nationalist. Now, let's just see what actually, is hate. So I'm going to pause it here, and now this over here is a protest. Same as the other one is a protest. They all are protests. Until they start becoming violent. And everybody has an absolute right to protest, they have the right to have their voices heard. But it is the manner in which they are doing it, and violence I cannot condone. Here we go.
A blue and white collar long, right down the middle.
Now look at the demographic here. These are mostly young people. And as a young person, it's very odd to say that. But I can't help but saying that most of the people my age have been drinking the Kool-Aid. They have been almost completely indoctrinated by mainstream media, just by the cult of social justice. Now, what I mean by that is the fact that everything is problematic, everything is sexist, everything is racist, and you have to point it all out there, to quote, what's her name? Anita Sarkeesian. It's power play. In my opinion, it's power play. How do those with little to no power achieve power? Well, they take it, and if you can't take it by force, how else do you take it? Well, you become the little red guard of Hillary, as we'll see here.
Because we were so close to having our first ever woman president, and we have a guy that's a...
See, what the hell does gender have anything? There will be a woman president. There will be a Asian president. There will be any kind of president you bloody well want if you vote for it. These people have had their vote. They are welcome, and they have the right to protest. But my God, talk about the wrong issues.
Nationalist, and he's currently...
What does it say? Nasty woman or something?
The polls and in winning, and it's
For a generation that hates labels, they sure like to label themselves a lot.
And I've seen this happen around the world, and it's just so saddening to me that this could possibly happen to our nation.
I'm definitely not proud of the decision, but I think we just need to, like every election, come together and...
See, now this woman is clearly in the right mindset here. I voted, my candidate lost, I have accepted that, we will carry on, we will stay united. There is going to be another election. I don't think he'll win the next one. Honestly, I don't think he's going to survive a year. I think there's going to be assassination attempts on him.
Move forward and do what's best for the nation.
I'm feeling pretty shocked, honestly, because I didn't think Trump was going to win.
Neither did I, mate. Neither did I.
I don't know. I've always kind of believed the polls are always right, so...
The polls are fucking wrong, mate. Okay. Now, that video is honestly one that it's not even that violent, that one. I've chosen that one because I'm not trying to just, like, say, hey, look at these guys over here, look at them smashing shit up. It's, you can see the violence intended by burning shit, that's not good. So, of course, we do have the unrest all over. US militias gear up for civil unrest. Now, look at this crazy shit. Look at this crazy shit. Anyway, so let's see what else I have here. So, I mean, most of the cities did vote for Hillary Clinton, which I'm entirely not surprised by. But the fact is that this democratic process is, it might not be entirely the best, but honestly, it prevents the diktat of the masses. Now, that sounds rather interesting to say, considering that they're all the same population. But I mean the diktat of the cities. The greater concentration of people, basically. And, yeah. I don't think the city should have say over the rest of the nation. Speaking as Englishmen, we had Brexit, of course, and we had cities like London. Obviously vote to remain. And most of the big cities like Leeds and Manchester also did as well. But the thing is, they are not the ones who have all the say. Just because there's a great concentration of people does not mean that you have all the democratic process rights there. Democracy is democracy. Now, of course, I do want to point out that there are resources such as Project Veritas, which has been absolutely instrumental. I think the DNC, the Democratic National Committee or something like that, they did screw themselves. They did absolutely ruin Bernie, purposefully. It was a bloody conspiracy to take him out of the running. And, honestly, I did agree with a lot of Bernie's principles and a lot of his views, but not all of them. Not all of them. I did not like his views on basically bloody identity politics. I think that has no place in politics at all. But would he have been better than Hillary? Hell fucking yeah. He would have been miles better than Hillary. I don't... Would he have won? I don't know. I honestly don't know if he could have won. I don't think the political scene in America is ready for something like that. And even if he did become president, I don't think he would have got anything done. Same as I think Trump will struggle. He might get some things done, but I honestly doubt he'll get a lot done. He's going to be opposed, I can guarantee that one. And then, of course, we have WikiLeaks, we have the Podesta emails. Now, this shit is insane. The FBI, holy shit. The Department of Justice, my god. So many institutions have just been blocking the way for Trump. It's incredible. But my god, these Podesta emails, I would say, have a look at this, have a look at WikiLeaks, and just take a look at this, and see why Hillary lost. I think it's the fact that if you call people racist, xenophobic, idiots, for their choice in candidate, they're going to vote. They know who they're going to vote. These bloody polls saying, oh, Hillary's got a shoe-in. Nobody's going to say, if they're being shamed, oh yes, I'm voting for Trump, because they would be shamed. That's how it works. That's how the media maintains its hegemony over the people's opinion. But that hegemony is broken. It's clearly been broken. So I have started to ramble on a little bit, and yeah. So all in all, what do I think about it? I think it's good. Obviously, he does not have all the answers. He does have a lot of questionable politics, and honestly, there's 4 years to go. He's not even sworn in yet. I think we have to take this as it comes and criticize him when he does something wrong and praise him when he does something right. But his policies on draining the swamp in Washington, his policies regarding NATO, his policies, well, his views regarding, well, I say policies, his ideas, sorry. His ideas regarding NATO, Washington, and Russia. I mean, we had almost had a second Cold War there. I mean, it was gearing up to be a Cold War. We have deployments along the European borders with Russia. We have tensions rising to absolutely insane levels. Just ridiculous. Hillary's idea of trying to enforce a no-fly zone is madness. That would have been absolute madness, and that would have led to war. I can't say it being any other way. But yes, so I think for these next 4 years, I think the Americans need to come together. I think they need to share their grievances in a democratic fashion, in a civil fashion. The civil unrest needs to stop. It's ridiculous, and my god, get a fucking grip. You voted. This is democracy. So, I'm more than likely going to suffer for this video, and, yeah. But that was my opinion. I might go into it in more detail at some point in the future. I've just had to put this together rather quickly, as I only have I only have a little bit of time before I have to go to work. But this is my opinion. And I do have to state this is an opinion of a outsider to American politics, and all in all, I have no vote in this. Nobody else but the Americans have a vote in this. This is their election. They have chosen as they have chosen, and they have the leaders they deserve. Now, whether the black swan of Mr. Trump will be good or a bad thing, who knows? But what we can say is that he is not going to be the status quo. The status quo was Hillary. She was the status quo candidate. Donald Trump is he's a black swan. He is a black swan. But I do think things are definitely changing. The political scene is definitely changing in the West, and hopefully for the better. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd love to hear your your comments down below, whether you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear about it. Let's try and have a civil discussion. And for the love of God, don't punish me for just expressing my views. I know I sound like a arse when I say that, but I know it can happen. And yeah, I would recommend taking a look at these links over here. And of course, don't believe everything you read. Don't believe it all. Things can be manipulated. Things are cast in different lights. So try to use your own initiative. Try to use your own force to think, well, to just work this out. Work out what your opinion is. Don't let your opinion be guided by somebody else's opinion. Think for yourself, and don't be a collective. So, yes, until next time, guys, goodbye for now, and, oh boy. Let's get this in. I couldn't help, but...
We're breaking the conditioning! Ah! Ah!
There we go. Okay, so until next time, guys, goodbye.